Alright guys, it's Jahlon with the Paradox Gaming Network, and today I am starting a new project. I'm starting to talk about all the things I wish I knew when I was getting started with streaming and video making, and there are so many things I wish I knew. I seriously wish I could travel back in time and start over, and since we know that's not possible, I want to share all these things with you if you're thinking about getting started, just so you can be like, yeah, I thought about that, or wow, I never would have thought about that. Now, first thing out of the box, this is not a technical manual. This is not going to walk you through all the specifics of setting up OBS or Filmora or anything that's going to be the technical part. I'm going to have a technical episode, but that episode's going to be more like the mistakes I made and then resources so you don't make those. So what are we going to talk about today? I want to talk about why it's important to think things through first. And then I'm going to talk about what's in a name, the importance of your name, a little bit of branding, not too much branding, just a little bit of stuff I want you to think about today. And then I want to talk about why you should use a brand new account when you get started. So the first piece of this, think things through first. Honestly, all the things I wish I knew. Now, I'm not saying that by watching this, you're not going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. I still make mistakes. But what I try not to do is I try not to make the same mistake over and over. Now, if I can teach you some of my mistakes, you're still going to make mistakes. In fact, I want you to make mistakes. I want you to go make huge, ginormous mistakes because you're going to learn from them. Just don't make the mistakes I made. And one of those things is getting so far out ahead of it that you then have to stop and look around and be like, am I really doing this? And this is how I felt for a long time. I felt like my cart was before my horse. I started making videos. If you look at my early YouTube videos, I started making them just really for fun. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. And then all of a sudden, I started making a little bit of money. I had sponsors, and I was like way up to my neck, and I had never thought about anything. So the first thing I want you to think about, are you doing this for fun, or are you doing this for profit? Now, if you're doing this for fun, you don't even need to sit here and listen to the rest of this. Although I'd recommend listening to the next couple of minutes because you might want some of it in the back of your head. But if you're doing this for fun, man, it's 2 turntables and a microphone. Just go, run with it. If you're doing it for profit, there's one huge thing you need to know if you're a US citizen. And that is, once you start streaming and making videos, you not only are going to have to learn all the stuff about streaming and making videos, you're going to have to learn all the stuff about running a sole proprietorship business. There is actually a ton of stuff on the business side that I will do an episode on and just give you the tip of the iceberg, but I want you to hear me loud and clear so you don't get blindsided. If you start making money with your Twitch, with your YouTube, with Patreon, with PayPal donations, anything you make money on that is profit of a sole proprietorship business. So now you're forewarned with that, and now you don't have your cart before your horse. Now, if I could go back in time and completely redo this, I'm going to tell you that the biggest thing I would change would be my name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Let me tell you, I always introduce myself as Jahlon of the Paradox Gaming Network, or from the Paradox Gaming Network. Yeah, let me tell you, I wish I could go back in time and maybe change that. Because Paradox Gaming Network is a really long title. And I could talk about my own stuff first, but I actually want to talk about a guy who kind of got it right and who kind of got screwed by the system. And that's my good friend, Aird. So what I want to do is I tell you about this guy and I say, hey, my friend Aird makes really good YouTube videos on ArcAge. And so you're like, okay, I go to Google and I Google YouTube Aird. And sure enough, right at the top, you're going to get this guy right here. and it is his channel, his big long stream of characters, and you click on it, and here we go. This is Aired's page. Now I don't have the whole page up because what I want to really focus on is up here at the top. That's Aired's string of, YouTube just assigns you a string until you're popular. Now, interesting enough, if I click on his name, which should just reload his page, you get this other name up here. Now, this is a previous version of his name that he used, and then he became Aired. He branded under Aired. Now, so you're like, okay, so I should be able to type Aired up here. But that channel doesn't exist. The way YouTube does their naming is very, very bizarre. So what you actually have to do, if you want to go straight to it via a link, it's /C for channel, and then / the channel name. Now you're going to see why at the end that's important, because, again, Paradox Gaming Network is really, really long. Now, Aired was fortunate enough that he got it changed, but as I show you, it's always going to link you back to your username. Now, there are some examples that I could show you of a username that picked, like, very poorly. They picked a very poor username, and now that's on their YouTube channel forever. It always shows up user / this. So that's one of the things I wanted to point out about names. Maybe you don't want to be Killa97 for the rest of your YouTube streaming career. Maybe you don't want to be, like, you know, Prince Slapaho forever. Because maybe, you know, Smooth Pimpin' isn't going to be a good branding name later on when you want to make some money. Sure, it's funny when you're 18, 19, 20 years old and you're in video games under that name. But then you start making some videos and you start to get on the growth curve, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I want to do this for profit. And now you're like, I got this detractor. Now some people are going to be like, it won't matter. Trust me, man. It's going to matter. It's going to matter later on down the road. Things you never thought would matter are going to matter. Now, I laugh with Aired about this. He knows it's a problem with YouTube. But it's not YouTube's problem, if you catch what I'm saying. Now, Aired has done a great job of his branding, and he's Aired on Twitch, and he's Gamer Aired on Twitter. So he's tried to link them all together. Really, really important thing to do. You definitely, most certainly want to try to keep everything linked together. In fact, episode 2 is going to explain a little bit more why you want to link them together. And I know right now you're like, Jahlon, I don't want to make YouTube videos. I want to stream. Just get through this video and then watch the next one. You're going to understand why you want to have that YouTube, why you want to have that Twitter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my stuff. Now, I made a bunch of bad decisions with my name. First and foremost, I was going to stream with another person, so it was going to be Jahlon and friend. So I'm really glad that I didn't start all of my branding with Jahlon and friend, because now there's no friend, and then it would just open up the joke of Jahlon has no friends. How the Paradox Gaming Network came to be was that we were the Paradox Guild in Arcage, so we were just Paradox. And then we went to Blade and Soul, we went to BDO, we went to a couple other games, so it was the Gaming Network. Same guild across many games. Now, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't be Paradox. As cool as I think that logo looks, as cool as the Penrose Triangle is, as cool as Paradox and some of the stuff I've done with it is, I probably would have sat down and branded under a different name. Now, I know some people would be like, dude, you don't have that many subscribers. You could go back and redo it. Sure, absolutely I could. But I've already done the hard part. I've already run the first 9 miles. The rest is easy. So let me just show you why I maybe would have not chosen Paradox. And this is what you should do. When you get set on a name, type in the name, Google it. Just do a Google search on the name you want. So when I type in Paradox Gaming, obviously if I type in Paradox Gaming Network, that's so specific, I'm gonna get me. What comes up with Paradox Gaming? Well, first and foremost, Paradox Interactive. So not a bad thing to be associated with, because you notice Paradox Gaming Network, if I scroll down, Paradox Gaming Network is going to show up inside the first 3 searches. My YouTube channel's there. I'm sorry, that's 4 searches. I didn't count the Twitter boxes. So there I am. I'm number 4. Now the problem comes in is as you scroll down, Paradox Gaming on Twitter, this isn't me. My Twitter doesn't show up until later. But you know, honestly, showing up inside the first 4, that's not bad for publicity. I'm getting some coattails here. Now, when we come to YouTube, there I am. There's the Paradox Gaming Network. And right up there at the top, Paradox Gaming. So that all works. When I click on myself, though, again, there's that channel string. It's a part of YouTube. So just realize that you're going to get the channel blah. Now, mine's a little different than Aird's because of the type of Gmail account I have. I don't have a user. I don't have a user identity that links to mine. But let's go to YouTube now and let's type Paradox. Unfortunately, because my name is Paradox, I get everything that deals with, you know, the top 10 paradoxes that will blow your mind. What is a paradox? So just looking for me by Paradox isn't gonna do it. Now, what about Paradox Gaming? There I am. I'm right there. I'm actually, depending on the time and how many times you've searched, I show up before, you know, I show up before Paradox Interactive. But there is a Paradox Gaming. There's a Paradox Gaming channel here. There's a Paradox Gaming here. So there's a bunch of them. But then, luckily, you start seeing my videos. What about Paradox Gaming Network? Ironically, I'm the first one, and then you get a bunch of my stuff. So if someone's willing to type Paradox Gaming Network, pretty good, pretty good. But again, I'm gonna say that when we do the /C/Paradox Gaming Network, that's a really long name, man. That is a commitment on the user to type that many characters. And believe it or not, a lot of the stuff that comes out of this book, you want to make it as easy as possible on your target audience. Same thing on Twitch. I don't stream under Jahlon. I stream under the Paradox Gaming Network. So lot of characters. Twitter, Paradox Game Net. I couldn't do Paradox Gaming. It was already taken. And I couldn't do Paradox Gaming Network. It's too many characters. Luckily, I was able to tie it in with my webpage, paradoxgaming.net. So it kind of worked. It kind of flowed. If I could go back in time, I would do something completely different. I would really sit down and come up with a better branding. Now, that leads me to make a fresh, clean account. Now, I know a lot of people have had their Gmail account for years when they start streaming. And it shouldn't matter, right? It shouldn't actually matter how long you've had the account. But one little tiny discussion I've had with a lot of people a lot of times is they're like, well, how long have you been making videos for? And I'm like, well, I really started making videos about 9 months ago. And so then I get the, well, and I always get this, I get the, well, your user account was created on January 16th, 2016. And the last thing you ever want to have to do is explain yourself, if you will. It's just a discussion you don't want to have. So if you make a clean, fresh account when you're ready to start uploading videos, make a clean, fresh account when you're ready to start uploading videos. These are important things to link together because the perception is that it took me 2 years to get to 2,170 subs. Actually, 2,205 now since I started. Since I started doing this script. So people are like, man, it took you 2 years to get to 2,000 subs. You're not credible. Believe it or not, I've had people tell me that. It took me too long to get to 2K subs. And I'm going to talk about sub timing in a later video. The reality is, April 6, 2016 is when I uploaded the first video. I had the address, I had the website for a few months before that to tie it to the website. And then I started making videos. Because the fact is, on my 1-year anniversary, on January 16th, 2017, I had 43 subscribers. That was friends and family. In fact, 18 months later, after I created the account last June I only had 102 subscribers. It's only been in this last year that my growth curve has taken off. So why do I recommend a clean, fresh account? Well, number one, you're going to be tying a lot of stuff to it. You want a nice, clean, fresh account that isn't going to be at risk of compromise, that you don't have at a bunch of places, because in later episodes, I'm going to talk about how important it is to respond to every email you get. So you basically, whether you're doing it for fun or for profit, you want to have a nice, clean email account and only use it for your streaming or YouTube making related stuff. Now, I'm going to explain that more in later episodes, but this is one of those things, if you're going to trust me, I just hope that you'll trust me so that you don't run into these pitfalls. Alright guys, and that's it for episode 1. What I really wanted to do today is I wanted to get a lot of information out to you. I wanted to put a lot of stuff in your head. I really want to encourage you to get a notepad and a pen, jot some stuff down. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments below. You can email me, you can join my Discord, ask questions that way. Pretty much any way you want to ask a question, I'm willing to respond. But before you get started on this career, this journey, don't get your cart before your horse. It's almost impossible to go back and undo everything and keep all your stats and all your subscribers, your followers, everything the same. So you pretty much have to get it right the first time. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go work on episode 2, and you take care. Hey, where are you going? You're not done yet. See these videos? This video's up here to watch. You gotta go over here. Hit the chibi. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the webpage. And I'll see you guys on Twitch.